the parallel to Zivico's highway.
Yeah, it sure is.
All right, folks, we will get started. Folks will join in, and it's just 1+1. And let me turn on the recording as well on the cloud, which is the Zoom cloud. Welcome everyone, and we have also started the live streaming on YouTube as well. So hopefully everybody will be well known by the time this is done. Yes, kidding. No, we got a good audience on YouTube as well, folks. So again, I'm Sanjay Dalal. I'm the founder and CEO of oGoing, welcoming everyone to today's oGoing Fireside Chat and Business Roundtable on a topic which is very relevant for all of us, because we're going to have some question as to who is not on LinkedIn, and that's just a trick question. It's B2B marketing on LinkedIn and beyond. And I welcome everybody to this roundtable. We have an awesome speaker with us, Lena Victoria Franzel, and she is going to share some great insights. And what I want to do is kick off the roundtable with a little bit of oGoing and what we do. And let me just share the PDF here. There you go. So again, the formal introduction, today's topic, conquering B2B marketing on LinkedIn. And I think, interestingly, we're going to share something different. I think a lot of us already shared a lot of great content on market, on LinkedIn and elsewhere, for leveraging, your and obtaining your leads and making connections. But today, there's this difference. Right? We're going to think about leveraging DMs, which is direct messaging, and also automation. And how does that, what does that mean, and how does that make the most impact for you? And I think this will be a very interesting topic, from what I can guess. But these are some facts shared by LinkedIn as well, and also verified externally, independently, that 80% of B2B social media leads, they do come from LinkedIn today. And I think this one was a slightly older fact, but I want to say it's probably better than 50% now in terms of LinkedIn members reporting that they're more likely to buy from a company they engage or a professional they engage on LinkedIn. So again, these are important facts. If you are looking or targeting, buyers for your product services, who happen to be another professional, another business owner, or even another business. So the net of it all is that there are many more facts like this, as to why it's important for all of us to be on LinkedIn. And a quick fact about oGoing and what we do. So oGoing is the business community, as LinkedIn is to professionals and now even a lot of companies. oGoing is to small businesses, so we have a very growing business community for small business owners, consultants, entrepreneurs, coaches, and our focus is small business. Today we have 125,000 members now on oGoing, and why are businesses joining and networking on oGoing? It helps them boost their website traffic. It helps them not only boost that, but also gets them going on social media and SEO, and ultimately helps them going on business networking, with all the members. So again, the exclusivity and the fact that we are focused on small business leads to more meaningful connections, more purposeful connections through oGoing. And also we do a lot of this events like this to help our members connect and do more. So that's oGoing. We are doing face-to-face roundtables as well locally. I think for folks like Arthur, that might be a little too far, but when he does visit locally in Orange County or LA, we'll welcome him back. So, so we do it, and our goal is to start doing a few of this starting this fall. And so what I want to do next is actually do the quick roundtable here with everybody who is in attendance. And so we have the gallery view here, so everyone hopefully can see, everyone in attendance today. So let's start with Arthur here, who is logging in from a little bit east of where we are. Arthur, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Just a few miles east of you, exactly. So I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a couple of companies, but mostly what I like to do is I like to share with people that the more you have loving relationships, and that means even in business, the more success you will have. Relationships are the key, as many of you know, to having a great company, right? To promote from within and to do those things. So my books are all about actually finding yourself, understanding who you are, how you operate, because especially as a leader, understanding how you actually operate, if you want to admit that to yourself. Many leaders don't want to admit who they are or how they act, but your actions obviously create either a great organization or not so great organization. And I like to help leaders understand how to lead a little bit more, or maybe as a leader, you decide that some of the people that you manage need some help in leading as well. So that's me, and you can always look me up on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Arthur, for joining and being one of our supporters and active community members. Really appreciate it. Let's go next to Cindy. Cindy Z, how are you, Cindy? Go ahead.
Hey, good to see you, Sanjay. Nice to see everybody. I have a marketing agency and we do marketing that helps start sales conversations. We're big on automation, and I'm super excited about this because we've been using a lot of LinkedIn automation and needed to change and pivot some things just to be in compliance with LinkedIn terms of service. So I'm super psyched to hear about this. We do a lot of automation with email and SMS and it's all good fun stuff. And I have a book where I wrote down this top 7 things we do with clients. So thanks. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Cindy Zushov. I appreciate you joining today and looking smashing as always. Yay. So the books, I love the books. Make sure you read her book, The 7 Marketing Basics. Tim, how are you? Tim Marquez. Tim, go ahead, please.
I'm doing good, Sanjay. Nice to see you again. It's been a little while.
Yes, welcome, and please introduce yourself and
Sure.
And share what's the latest going on.
So my name is Tim Marquez. I'm with A-Best Industrial. We provide high pressure stainless steel valves, fittings, tubing, as well as other different metals, brass and exotic metals. I'm on LinkedIn. You'll see my name on here twice. That's Jared. He actually works with me. He does most of the postings on our company, LinkedIn, and other social media. So hope you don't mind. I invited Jared to be in here with us as well.
Absolutely fine, Tim. And thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you.
And what's the latest happening with you and your business? How's it going?
It's going well. Actually, Jared's involved with development and growth of adding on customers. We sell a product, but we're more focused on serving the customers first.
Yeah.
The product is secondary, and the last couple of years now, we've been focused on growing our customer base, not our revenue, but our customer base. My belief is that the revenue increases will come as we continue to provide proper service to the customers, and Jared's a key factor in that. But he's been successful in finding and developing new customers and new areas that, just like Arthur was mentioning about a relationship, developing that relationship that initially does not produce an order, but over the course of time and the interaction of that relationship has now produced orders that started off small and now are increasing. And that is the intention, the overall long-term intention of what we're doing here. So things are going well for us.
No, I think what you're doing is quite amazing, and it's probably a good topic to think about in the future as well, because what you're doing is on the ground and seeing how this experiment works and it's working well so far. So thanks for sharing with us, Tim. Thank you. Yeah. Alok, go ahead, please. Alok Nath. Alok, yeah. Unmute your mic, Alok. Your mic. Yeah.
Yes, my name is Alok Nath. I lead a company called Order Cup, which is an e-commerce shipping platform meant for small and mid-sized businesses that are selling online. Primarily selling online, of course, can be used for offline shipping too. And we're based right here in Orange County, out of Rancho Santa Margarita. And what else? What else did you want me to go over? I can't remember now what you said.
It's fine. How's the business going? If you want to just quickly share.
Going, it's we're sort of tied into the online space. So even though online is growing, I mean, last year was a down year actually, but seems to be recovering now this year.
Okay, great. And folks, we have a question for you, so this will also help set the tone for the meeting, and it's on chat. If you don't mind sharing how you have utilized LinkedIn for B2B lead gen so far, you can share a quick few words or a paragraph, whatever, just chat away. So whatever, something simple is fine too. So let's go next to Sonal Ladwa. Sonal, go ahead.
Hey, Sanjay, thank you very much, as usual, for having me. And thank you. You all the time have very rich content-based programs. So I'm actually always making sure that I don't miss your Zooms. A little about me. I'm a owner and partner both with my husband. We own a company called Toki Toothbrush. It's a patented manual toothbrush with an attached sliding tongue scraper. It's basically for those people who care not to have cavities, who believe that their taste buds can be cleansed with a tongue scraper and a lot more. So hoping to connect with a lot of you over here. I have a question up front on LinkedIn, or rather about LinkedIn. I have my feet in two separate boats, and I was on LinkedIn way before our company came into existence. I'm also a psychotherapist and a divorce mediator. So my LinkedIn account is showing that. And I'm struggling with the fact because LinkedIn will not give me a business page, which is different than what my introduction on LinkedIn is. So I'm hoping to hear from you experts to see what is the way out. If there are people who have multiple businesses, how do they, multiple businesses also of very different nature, because divorce mediation and psychotherapy, I don't think has anything to do with a consumer product or a personal healthcare product. So that's where I am. I'd like to hear from you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think we will definitely discuss that when we have a chat with Lena, because I think that's a lot of folks grapple with that, right? Because they have a personal or professional profile, business, one or more businesses they're part of, and sometimes they also have multiple personal profiles as well based on different things they do. So I think it's definitely something we could look into as we converse. Let's go to Josephine Zhang. Josephine, go ahead. Josephine, you can unmute your mic and share your. Are you able to do that? Okay, we'll get back to her. Go ahead, Manoj Patel. Yeah, Manoj, go ahead. You can. Are you able to talk, Manoj? We can't hear you yet. Some folks are having some mic issues there. Yeah, go ahead, Manoj.
So are you able to hear me?
Yeah, just be a little louder.
Okay. So this is Manoj Patel from FXM Tech Financials. We work as a consultant from investment banker. I'm from Bangalore, India, and we work with 45 banks and NBFCs. We work on debt finance, structured finance, and project finance. So ours is a startup, a bootstrap startup, and but we also work with startups raising their fund from $500,000 to $5 million in between. That's where our startup is. So yeah, I'm fond of LinkedIn, and I've been using since 2012 on the LinkedIn, where like in era of 15, 16, 4 to 5 employees of mine were having about 2,000, 5,000 connections, each of them, right? So, and in fact, this is my second LinkedIn account. First was 30,000 plus LinkedIn account. Again, I created a new one where one was not working initially, it was temporarily blocked, and currently also I have some 6,000, 7,000 connections a day. So this I have been using LinkedIn since long years. I've seen various things on the LinkedIn, and yeah, here I am. Thank you. Thank you all, and it's a pleasure.
Okay, Manu, that's great, Manu. And if you don't mind sharing your LinkedIn in the chat, as well as I think
Sure.
the other
I'll
thing.
just right away say my LinkedIn URL.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Manoj, for attending, and I appreciate you joining in from India. I appreciate that. Let's go to Kamal Ruparelia. Kamal, go ahead, please.
Hi, Sanjay. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, attending your session since I started. I wasn't able to attend a couple of them, but we are a software development company based in Bay Area.
Yep.
We've been doing since many years, and recently we are trying to get into EV software for smaller EVs in like 2 and 3 wheelers in India. So we're trying to, for today's purpose, we're trying to acquire some of the OEMs through the LinkedIn, but it has been challenged so far. So looking forward to get some more insight today. Thanks.
That's very specific. So yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so we'll definitely make a note of discussing that. Let's go to Abigail Cornelius. Abigail, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Abigail, and I'm a finance intern here at Strategic Financial Solutions in Redlands. And I don't have much experience with B2B lead generation on LinkedIn, but I'm excited to learn more.
Thanks, Abigail. And can you share the company? What do you guys do?
Hello, my name is Dan.
Strategic Financial Solutions is a financial advising firm. So we work with both personal clients and businesses and help them formulate strategic financial plans.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah. And thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Who else are we missing right now? I think everybody has shared. Josephine, if you can come back online and share what you do, that'll be great. Otherwise, we'll get started with our speaker. And let me change the view to the speaker view. So hold on. There we go. All right. So what I want to do is formally introduce Lena Victoria Frenzel with you folks. I mean, we're very happy to have her, at this roundtable. She was recently named as one of the top coaches in 2023 by a very esteemed, magazine, the US Reporter. What she does, she is a transformational coach, focusing both on business growth as well as in individual and professionals, and she has been managing this awesome firm here in Orange County called Lucid Achievement, which coaches individual and businesses to thrive, especially in the current world that we live in. And what's interesting about her journey is, of course, she's based out of Laguna Beach here in California, which you can see on the background there. But her own journey has been fairly transformative. Herself and based on some of the learning she has had from her early childhood and after being born and raised in Germany, where she had some issues in terms of illnesses, and Lena can share a little bit more on that. But ultimately figured out a way out in terms of the holistic approach is kind of the focus. So she also does the same with individuals and businesses in terms of transforming them, towards performance optimization, as well as focusing on not just raising the achievement, but also looking at ways for holistic healing. And very interesting, I would say, journey for sure. But with that said, I want to introduce Lena and share a few nuggets with her. Lena, how's it going?
Very well. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for having me. It's a pleasure.
So from Germany to US, and I know you travel a lot around the world as well. So maybe share a little, let's start with that. Share a little bit of your journey, if you may, whatever parts you feel that this audience can benefit from. Go ahead, Lena.
Yeah, sure. So, a little bit of background about me. I was born and raised in Germany, and I actually became a first-generation immigrant to California. It started out with a road trip that I took with my dad as a 15-year-old kid, and I just, if any of you, I know Arthur, you're from Orange County, I think I saw just the beaches in Orange County. I was like, wow, I have to live here one day. I was 15, just opened my whole world because I was from a small town. And later, I was fortunate enough to land an internship here, and that's when I made the promise to myself, like in the road trip times, to live here for an extended time. Did an internship here and said, okay, this is it. Laguna Beach shall be my home. I just totally want to settle down here. And I came over here. I got my master's in communications in Orange County, and then during and after, just worked a few tech jobs in the Silicon Valley area. And eventually, about 5 years ago, started my own business, Lucid Strategies, which started out as a B2B marketing company. Lead generation, appointment setting, everything that we're covering today. And then, starting to coach these companies more and more through their sales and marketing process, and discovering, wow, my real passion also really lies with coaching. And when I work with these owners and founders on a deeper level, that also really elevates their business. So as a result, Lucid Achievement, the coaching arm, was born as well.
That's fantastic, Lena. And in terms of the LinkedIn journey, if I may, you've been on LinkedIn for many years. Do you know when you got started? Like, how far back was it?
Actively, I would say maybe 10 years ago, I probably started my profile, but it's one thing to have a profile and a lot of connections. Like I heard one gentleman say he had 5,000 connections, and it's the other thing to really know how to leverage LinkedIn as a direct response marketing tool. And that's what we've really been honing for the last 5 years for ourselves, as well as for our clients who are primarily in the B2B space.
Understood. Yeah, and actually that's a good question for folks here as well. Maybe if you can go back in time and share when you started your LinkedIn journey, that'll be cool. I think I've been there for, I want to say, more than 15 years at least, maybe more. I think I was I used to be in Bay Area before, in Silicon Valley. I want to say more than 20 years. I think when LinkedIn had started, I was probably there in the first few, folks who was on it way back. But I think from a business vantage point, we probably got pretty serious in the last, I would say, since 2005 or 6 timeframe. But yeah, it's been around. A lot of folks don't know that LinkedIn has been around for many, many years. And then I know you wanted to share a few things content-wise. Did you want to do that? And then we can head into questions. Is that fine? Or
Sure, perfect. And if you want to give me a quick pointer from here, how much time do we have for just the speaking part before we go into the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll definitely. I think you got a good 15 minutes, so go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead. And I'll share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, loading up.
Okay.
Wish we were out there, but we are here.
It's okay. We can all have, how about this? The next roundtable will be hosted at the Montage, which you can see right here on this picture.
That sounds like a plan. Love it.
Outdoors, a nice conference. So yeah, I already shared a little bit background about me. Yeah, during my time before I started my company, I was working for the companies that you can see on the screen: YouTube, Google, Nike, Facebook. And as you know, these are huge advertisers that encourage you to go and spend a lot of money on ads. And what I found working for agencies after and trying to implement that is seeing that, you know, for a lot of the small businesses, and this is your audience, Sanjay, that is really not the best fit. Why is that not the best fit? Because in order to run a successful ad campaign, it's not just that you have to pay money for ads. You also have to have a web designer, an ad manager, a strategist, and you need to constantly iterate and test. And before you know it, you're $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 deep in the hole, and you don't even know if you can be competitive with your business in the marketplace, where there's a lot of times much bigger players. So that's why Lucid Strategies was born, honestly, because I was working in a marketing agency here in Laguna Beach, and I've seen, wow, these business owners, they're paying what, $5,000, $10,000 for an advertising retainer, and they're not getting the results. The leads are not targeted. I'm sure some of you guys can maybe relate if you've had, you know, ads run, or maybe you've worked with certain partners and the results were just not quite there, and the spend is so high. So I thought, wow, there must be a better way to generate business without having to spend money on ads for these small business owners. What is the minimal effective dose, Tim Ferriss likes to say, that we can use to really get results? And I thought I'd share with you just a quick example of how powerful the targeting can get on LinkedIn. So if you guys want to drop in the chat, who of you is familiar with Sales Navigator? Just drop a yes or no in the chat if you're familiar. So this is Sales Navigator. And okay, Tim is saying no, so this is wonderful. It just shows you how targeted you can get. So for example, we are currently running a campaign where we are targeting medical device companies. That's our specialty that we just really thrive in, because it is the hardest industry to get leads for. And so we've been focusing on that industry that's highly technical, that requires really good writing and understanding of the B2B medical device landscape. And that's where we have a really strong selling point, right? Because we understand exactly what the needs are. And we can say we only want to target companies between 50 to 500 employees, only privately held. In North America, we only want to talk to the owner, president, founder. And then there's this wonderful filter right here that we only talk to people who are also actively posting on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. So what you see right here, the 422 results, that's the creme de la creme of LinkedIn, I like to call it. If you switch that off, you see all the dead profiles, basically. That's 3,000, right? You switch it on, you're back to 422. So there's a little trick right there already to really focus on the people that are most likely to respond. So with our process, we're able to generate an extremely targeted list for you and your team that you can approve and say, yes, these are exactly the people that I want in my targeting. Unlike with ads, where you cannot see even who is going to be the receiver of your message, with this process on LinkedIn and B2B, you can see, okay, Mike Alvarez, you can look into his company. What do? They specialize in remote health monitoring. Our platform enables cardio partners to quickly and efficiently track, and so on. So you can look up exactly who's in your targeting, and there's no more guesswork on, you know, are our leads qualified or not. So that is a massive, massive benefit of going through LinkedIn and really using just the power of how target you can get. And again, you can choose your industry. Now, in this case, I took some notes for Kamal, right? He said he wanted to target EV companies in the Bay Area, right? We can easily just switch this out, and we can just say San Francisco here. San Francisco Bay Area, and then switch out the targeting. Plug in which industry would you say?
So OEMs, I mean, basically my target is in India rather than just Bay Area. Bay Area, it's easy to navigate, but India, you know, the profiles don't have all those metadata, and they are kind of like, you know, finding a needle in haystack, because they have profile, they are kind of CEOs and MDs and of great companies, but metadata is lacking there. But this has already been very helpful. So thanks for all the insight that you have given.
Yeah, no worries. So for example, let's say you wanted to target renewable energy semiconductor manufacturing, very specific, right?
Yes.
In the Bay Area, in this size, it would be a sweet spot for your company. You could talk to the 37, you know, most qualified, most active leads in your business. And there's no more guesswork on who you reach or not. So yeah, on a high level, I just want to give people a little bit of a snapshot, especially if you haven't seen Sales Navigator, just how powerful the targeting can get.
Yeah, and if I may add, I think LinkedIn does help you by providing you like a 30-day trial of Sales Navigator. So, you know, you can always give it a test drive before you start paying for it. So I would say, if you're serious about B2B lead gen, I mean, that's definitely, I would say that's the first tool you should get your hands on for sure. Okay, out of any tools out there, right? So there you go.
If you like, since we have Sales Navigator, if you're a member, you can give a gift to people with instead of a 1 month trial of free Sales Navigator, you get 2 months. So if you like, I think I dropped already the link to our Calendly booking in the chat. If you want to book a meeting, we can connect you and we can send you a 2-month free Sales Navigator trial if you like, as a little thank you for attending the meeting.
Awesome. That's even better. Okay.
Yeah, get 2 months instead of 1. Gives you more time.
Lena, can I ask you a question? Because
Sure.
You're on. So as far as Sales Navigator goes, you went into specifics and all. Would it also have professionals? For example, I'm looking for periodontists. Can it be as specific as that too? Oh, okay.
Yes. So let's take, for example, we're just going to take the industry out for a second. And then you would go under job title.
Oh, so that's where it is.
So we take this president out. Periodontist, I've actually never heard that term. What is that?
Yeah, they specialize in gum diseases of the mouth. So they're like orthodontists you have. These are periodontists.
Oh, there it is. There it goes.
There you go. Oh,
we're all learning something new. Okay. And then let's see what filters obviously they don't have the size that we selected. So if we remove that and we go for the US, for example. And then interesting. Let me refresh the search.
I think the function, you need to remove the function.
Should show up. Let's
Doesn't
do a
it
test.
also depend on, like, in certain professions, they're not very active on LinkedIn, like maybe in the medical field. And in the dental field, I don't see too many physicians and all that are. There are some, but it's not universal like in tech or something.
No, I think there is a filter issue right now. I think.
Yeah.
But I know like there are at least a few hundred to 1,000.
That's correct. Here, let me try this again. It might be honestly my cookies and cache.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you browse on Chrome all the time.
Yeah. I think right now everything is stuck. So.
Yeah,
no worries. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know that there is, for a matter of fact.
Okay, so it's that's fine. Sanjay, I'll connect with you if I get stuck.
Oh, definitely. I think now, of course, folks in certain medical fields, very specific, may not be, to Alok's point, may not be as active. But having said that, if they are there, you know, and if you don't want to, let's say, go direct, you can always connect with them first and see, because when you start connecting with someone, Sonal, they will always get an email request, right? Not just on LinkedIn, but also to their email. So even the fact that they would respond back to you saying, yeah, I would like to connect with you, that should at least tell you that even though they're not active on LinkedIn, at least they have a profile which they are, looking at it from time to time, and that alone can be useful at times.
Yeah. Thank you.
So can I ask a couple of questions? Is Sales Navigator like an additional add-on tool that you subscribe to every month, or how does that work?
So Sales Navigator is like a premium product of LinkedIn. And yes, you would subscribe to it on a monthly basis. I think right now it runs about $99 a month.
Okay.
And again, you can get a free month trial if you like, if you haven't used it before.
And is it meant for coming up with these targeted lists? And then as far as contacting them or emailing them, do you do that in Sales Navigator, or do you export that list to some other marketing platform and do it from there, or how does that work?
Sorry, could you repeat that for a second?
I'm saying you subscribe to Sales Navigator, you come up with a targeted list that you want to target, right? And then do you do that within LinkedIn and the Sales Navigator tool, or do you take that list now and export it? Let's say you want to contact all of them by email, and you just want to send them. So would you export that list and put it in a CRM platform or a marketing platform and do it through that, or would you do it within Sales Navigator itself?
Yeah. So we're kind of jumping a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I was going to cover that in a second. No worries. So yes, it starts on Sales Navigator where you see who you want. And then from there, it's about implementing a process where these leads can obviously flow into your CRM, and then you can then start your multi-touch approach, if that makes sense. Because you don't want it to just stay on LinkedIn. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Awesome.
It gives you all the tools allowed to download into CRM. Yeah.
So the subscription for Sales Navigator, the $99 a month or whatever, is there for people who have just general accounts or even premium? Like I have a premium account on LinkedIn, which I pay every month.
So LinkedIn is the base product that is free, and then Sales Navigator is one form of a premium account that you can have. However, there's 3 different premium accounts that you can have. One is for recruiters, one is for individuals, and one is for sales professionals. And so Sales Navigator is a premium product that you would want for lead generation and outreach.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I mean, you probably don't need both. So now if you're going to go Sales Navigator, you can say, I'm just going to use that and not have the premium anymore. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me walk you guys through just kind of the main milestones that you want to have in place. And this is just our process that we know works really well. This is what we implement with every client. And if you want to implement this for your company or in-house, you would kind of make sure that you have the same steps in place. So number one, in order to be successful, it's not enough just to have a tool, right? It's not enough just to have automation, because a lot of people have access to that. What's going to actually make it or break it for you is to start with, do you have a really good messaging strategy, and do you actually have a strong offer? So that's something that I always work out with my clients in the beginning, because a lot of clients don't really know what is the actual business that they're in. So for example, as a credit card processing company, the CEO might reach out and run campaigns and basically pitching people left and right on LinkedIn or elsewhere to say, hey, we can offer you 2.5% in credit card processing fees versus 5%. And they can have the best tools in the world. They can have the best sales team in the world. But if that is what they're basing their marketing on, they're probably not going to really thrive or be successful in the business. So in the beginning, I always consult and coach my clients to identify what is really the offer that you're bringing. And what needs to happen for you to be successful is to turn your service into an irresistible offer that people feel stupid walking away from. And I know that sounds really hard, but if you can't do that, don't even start marketing, because you haven't done your homework. So first, we got to do our homework. So what would be the business of a credit card processing company? Well, they're really not in a processing business, but they're really in the business of selling profit for discount, right? because you've been paying 5% credit card processing fees, and that's going to impact your profit. And now you're going to save X amount, and there is no downside for you. So why would you not change? You would absolutely be stupid not to change if you're paying more than this company is offering to you right now. And basically, who doesn't want to buy $1 for 25 cents, for example, right? I would definitely go and take on that offer. And that's how crystal clear that messaging has to become for your campaigns to work. So that's always the first piece that we have to work out. And that's also where we see a lot of people kind of miss that step. And as a result, they come back, from other providers and whatnot, and they say, oh, our campaigns didn't work, or we didn't have success. So that's kind of foundations. And then the next step that needs to be in place is setting up a funnel and a process that delivers consistent leads every day. Even when you're in bed, even when you're not doing something, someone should be prospecting for you. If your sales team is structured in a way right now where people have to manually go to, even networking events are amazing, but if they have to do that in order to grow the business, there's something wrong, right? There should be a foundational process of consistently reaching into your target audience. Also, to leverage the time of your salespeople. Your closers shouldn't be hustling. They should be dealing with leads that are warm, that are qualified, that are hot. So we then build out the entire marketing funnel for them. And there is a automated way of doing that, and we have a program for that. And then there is the kind of done for your concierge service where we take a little bit more of a hand-picked approach that maybe in a round 2 or something like that, we can go into that a little bit more detail. And then obviously make sure that also the sales comes in. So unlike maybe other marketing companies that just focus on lead generation, for us, it's very important. We understand our job that if you're not closing the leads and the deals, then you're not getting an ROI. So we actually fully also take care of making sure that your sales process is in place. Your team knows how to follow up and nurture those leads. And there's accountability so that you as a CEO also get full transparency on how many leads are coming in, what is my team doing, and what are the results, or if there's no results, why are there no results, so that we can all troubleshoot together. So in that process, we make sure that you have a wonderful CRM set up if you don't already have one, or if you have one, you're actually using it and you're integrating it in the system. So thank you for that earlier question. And then the last step is closing. If you've done all of that, if you actually have a really good offer and you've trained your salespeople to understand your business for what it really is, then you're putting that in really good messaging that is highly, highly niche targeted, that is so specific why you are obviously the best in your niche. And then you set up a process where everyone has full transparency with dashboards and a CRM. Then closing becomes natural. It's not like you have to sell anything. The conversation becomes kind of inevitable. And that's how we transition all our clients through these 4 steps to make sure that they're successful. So very simply speaking, the funnel looks kind of like this. It starts on LinkedIn, and again, with the use of Sales Navigator, picking a highly targeted niche. Then obviously the next step would be booking appointments and a calendaring page. And then it automatically syncs and flows with your CRM, which could be HubSpot or any other CRM. And again, in the very beginning, step 1, we have to define what is the business and messaging strategy. Just because you have a service doesn't mean that that's what the campaign is going to be about, right? We have to turn your service into an irresistible offer. There is a really big gap between those two. And it takes thinking to get there. And then defining what the sweet spot is. So for example, if you're targeting really large companies on LinkedIn that have 5,000 employees and you're hoping to talk to the CEO, good luck. That might not really work. So you have to find a sweet spot also in terms of a turnaround time. These big corporations a lot of time have very large amount of decision makers, and that can delay the process. So we really find out what works best for you, then has a reasonable turnaround time, and you also have a chance of really reaching that decision maker. And then again, you want to make sure that either in-house or working with a partner, you have a machine, basically what I call it, right? A sales machine that is generating for you 24/7, day and night. Even if your salespeople go on vacation, there's leads coming in. And those leads are being logged in a CRM, and then there is a multi-touch follow-up strategy in place to not only reach them on LinkedIn, but also on other channels. So It used to be when you go to marketing school that they would tell you, you need at least 4 touches. And that was before digital. And now in digital, you need at least 16 touches for someone even to basically perceive you on their radar. So that's just what happened to our attention span in this digital age. And so that's why that multi-channel strategy is really, really key. And yeah, as a last step, and really, I would say as a strategy for success, we like to take the approach to really merge with the companies that we work with as a long-term partner. So instead of hiring someone that you see as a contractor or as this lead generation company, you really want to find people that care about your business, to really understand what it's about and really who's the audience and how are you really deeply serving the people that you work with. And then B, making sure that there is a mutual flow of communication. So, we deliver leads, but at the same time, we're also coaching the sales team on how to get a better bang for the buck dealing with those leads. And I feel like that's where a lot of people kind of just don't see the responsibility. And I think what could have been a good campaign, just because of a disconnect in communication or because of a silo perception that marketing is different than sales, a lot of really great opportunities just go in the trash. And so that coaching piece, that's not happening once a month, just a passive report, but the conversation that's ongoing day-to-day in chat and also at least once a week in a kind of a coaching call is really, really important, because a lot of times the CEO and the owner don't even know what's going on in their sales team and why things are not working. And when we take a look under the hub, we create these dashboards that you can see here and really know how many times was there a follow-up on a deal. Why has that deal not been touched in 2 weeks by your sales team? Sometimes the ugly truth comes out, but it's okay because we're partners. And so we grow through that together. So yeah, this is just kind of an example of, again, how people would be able to pick appointments with you. Everything would be synced with your CRM. This is an example of HubSpot, how those leads would be synced there. And of course, you'll be able to get your own real-time dashboards on the meetings that are being booked, calls that are being created. If you're listening right now and you think, oh gosh, we don't really use our CRM, we don't really have a dashboard like that where we know what's happening in our business, this is your sign. If you want to improve your performance, it might be advisable to have a dashboard. I think that's one of the key takeaways I want to say is, imagine you're a pilot flying an airplane and you don't have any of the measuring instruments in your airplane. You don't know how far you've traveled. You don't know how long it is to your distance. You don't know how much fuel you have. None of those things. How would that feel to operate the plane with a lot of people behind you, right? That's a scary, scary thought. And yet, so many business owners operate exactly like that. They're just flying along the business journey, patching up problems, playing firefighter, and they don't really have a dashboard with dials that tells them exactly where they are and why. And so also the first thing that we do when we come in is create that transparency and make sure that the lead generation efforts that are happening through LinkedIn are really quantifiably and qualitatively reflected in a dashboard that is real time, that the owner can see. They know exactly how many deals do we have in the pipeline, when were they generated, from which campaigns did they come, did the appointments show up, how many appointments were booked, how many times were they touched. That makes a big difference, because now you can see what did we actually do with these opportunities. So yeah, thank you so much. Open for any questions that you have.
That's great, Lena. Those was some great points. Can you stop the sharing, Lena, so we go back to the gallery?
Of course.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, we have a few questions coming from the chat. Let me get those first for you. So we had one from Cindy Z, and she said, once you have a list put together, what best practices do you recommend for reaching out to these folks? And a follow-up to that is, what's really the most effective? And folks, you're welcome to ask in directly as well. It's your roundtable, so go ahead. But go ahead, Lena.
Yeah. So, what best ways to follow up once you have a list? Is that the question?
Yeah. What are the best practices for reaching out to the folks? So let's say you go through the Sales Navigator. Let's take the example of the periodontist. That name sticks to me now for some reason, and I hope I'm saying it the right way, Sonal. And
Yeah, you are.
yeah, and so now you have it. Maybe they are local in Laguna Beach or Orange County, and well, how do you really reach out to these guys? I mean, they are super busy, and they're just probably going to brush us aside because they really don't know me. So some tactics there, and yeah, about
Yes.
what's most effective as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you were potentially able to see from the dashboard, we do a multi-channel touch point strategy with all the leads. So it starts on LinkedIn, and that actually enables one thing, that you have a really highly qualified warm list. So unlike just purchasing some dead lists that have been emailed 1,000 times of people who are tired of it, that have a lot of bounces and don't work at all, and it's probably low-key like not a good idea to email. You're generating the leads fresh on LinkedIn. They say that they're interested now, and then they go into your CRM, and then from there, either your team or our team, for example, would do text message follow-ups, calls. Yes, calls work. Actually, they work so well because it's such an old school thing that no one's actually doing it anymore. And if you have, again, a very good pain point targeted script, you can book a lot of appointments that way. Obviously, LinkedIn follow-ups, email follow-ups, and the more channels you can incorporate, even things like, WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever works for your target audience, the better. Because at the end of the day, it's the diversity of touch points. Someone might be on vacation. As they accept the LinkedIn request, they might come back and then see a text. And then it's like, oh yeah, actually I do. I am interested. Let me book a meeting.
Does Sales Navigator give you access to all of that information, like their email, cell phone number, or whatever?
Yes,
right?
it does.
It does, okay.
It gives us the mobile numbers too, as long as the person has put
Provided
that on
that,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your
All right.
process,
Go
so I
ahead.
don't mean to hog up the time, but I have one question. Your process seems to be baked in with HubSpot. So is like HubSpot the CRM that you recommend, or would it work just as well with other CRMs and so on?
It works as well just with other CRMs. It's completely interchangeable. What I would always recommend is to choose a CRM that has an open API, or ideally a native integration with some of the other softwares that you use. Some CRMs don't have them. For example, what's it called? Pipeline Pro, for example, doesn't have a native integration with other things and doesn't really have an open API. So if you wanted to connect different data points, for example, Calendly into your CRM, that wouldn't work. And so there would be more manual work. But yeah, in general, any CRM works. We use HubSpot for all of our clients who are open to start fresh or who want to improve their CRM. The free version of it can do everything that is covered in our program. You don't even need to pay for their plans. It gets really expensive if you want to do email marketing through HubSpot, which I don't recommend because there's much better tools. But if it's for simple sales process management, it's free and it's a very superior tool.
What would you recommend for email marketing?
For email marketing, I would actually recommend a software called Gmass. So it's extremely cheap and it's actually built in a way that you get much higher open rates than a lot of the more established email software programs.
Could you spell that?
It's called GMASS. It's only $35 a month, and it provides better performance than tools that cost about $200 per month.
Yeah, what Gmass does is actually it's a plugin that sits on Gmail, and it literally sends emails out as if it's actually sending a direct email through Gmail. So
yeah,
kind of like a personal
good job
kind of thing. Okay.
And that's why you get better performance, because if you're sending a mass email, the email provider recognizes that it's a mass email. You get a lot of spams, a lot of bounces, not delivered. When in Gmass, they're parsed, so they're sent one, even though it's a bulk. And so it kind of tricks the email provider to get a much better deliverability.
Interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it actually works. The only thing is it does go through email at a time. So, but you can have that running in parallel. So Next question I have is from Sonal. How do you use LinkedIn if you're more than one business?
Yes, so I think this is a follow-up question, right, on creating a business page. So there should honestly be not an issue on creating multiple business pages. I know this for myself because we have a business page for Lucid Achievement, which is the coaching part of our business, and then also for Lucid Strategies. So if you have consistent issues with that, I would honestly reach out to the LinkedIn support. There should not be any block on that, especially because you can verify that you're the owner and this is your identity. There should not be any issues.
So
Yes,
even
so
if the
Sonal-
businesses are different in nature, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
My
yes.
whole, for you, because one is coaching and the other one's marketing, so there is some kind of a sync between.
Yeah.
But with
No.
mine, there isn't. So
It doesn't matter. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
it really doesn't matter. You know, do you think that they would disallow if Elon Musk were to create his own LinkedIn page? Do you think that they would block him from creating multiple pages? You know, there's so many serial entrepreneurs that have different businesses. So absolutely, there shouldn't be an issue there.
okay, thank you.
So
Sanjay, you were saying
the,
something.
The key difference is you create a separate business page for each business. And that's not like your personal page. So the business page now, what LinkedIn also allows you to do is it allows you to have followers on the business page.
Yeah.
So what you can do is, so I know you're personally connected to many different people based on the many different things you do. So you don't want all of them to follow both pages. So now you can segment your connections and say connections A, they are the ones I need them to follow for Toki brand versus the segment B, which are for your psychotherapy or other businesses you run, right? So you can segment your own list. And so now once you have both business pages running, then based on whatever you're doing, you can invite people to follow the business page and not necessarily Sonal the professional. Does it make sense? And you can also share different types of content on each page as well.
Yeah.
So Manoj has an interesting question. How many messages per day we can send to people through the platform, specifically B2B targets, and what's the ROI in terms of response? And that's a frequently asked question as well, yeah.
Yes, love the question. Yeah, so the answer is it depends on the type of profile you have. It depends on your offer, how well established it is, and who you're targeting. So, so basically, if you have a profile that is brand new, that has no history, you're not going to be able to do so much. And it's quite hard. So you really want to use a profile that is established, that has a lot of connections, because they really have a much higher allowance of sending messages. Also, getting Sales Navigator is kind of like having a little bit of a shield or boost power, so to say, in a game. You know, it's like an extra buff, so to say, that you can put on yourself because LinkedIn knows, okay, you're here to do sales, so that also ups your number. So I would say per profile, for the very new profiles, you know, I would say go conservative and maybe start with 5 invites per day. On the more established profiles, you can go all the way between 20 to 30 invites per day. And then on follow-up messages, however, it is much easier. So once you kind of build your connection pool, and again, you might have 5,000, 10,000 connections. On follow-ups, you can do much more per day. So, I mean, there is really not that much of a limit what you can do in terms of follow-up and just nurturing your existing connections.
Yeah, so personally, I've tried at times to send out like 50 or 100 connection requests. And I think nowadays the tool starts asking me to slow down quite a bit. So I think it doesn't kick you out, but it's, you know, it does say, well, maybe you're overdoing it, time to, and I think it also depends on how you're asking to connect to people. So, you know, there are two ways. One is you can just hit connect without personalizing the message. I think if you take the extra time in personalizing the invite, where each message is somewhat different, not the same, or maybe you can create like A/B testing, like A, B, C, D, E, F, or whatever, and have different types of connection requests. Then LinkedIn sees that, okay, you're doing this manually, you know, you're not just throwing something out where you're just connecting quick, then it does let it slide by at times, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that way, and I've done at times 50 to 100 requests a day. But again, you have to be very methodical to make sure you fly under the radar, as they say, right? So I think there's a couple of good questions on automation, Lena. Of course, everybody wants the holy grail, and could you elaborate more on automated 24/7 lead gen on LinkedIn, and of course any other automation tools for sending LinkedIn DM as well? Yeah.
100%. So, I mean, there is a plethora of tools out there, and it is a it's a scary marketplace out there. I don't know how else to say it. There's a lot of tools, and a lot of them are very bad. And then there are some that are really good. And it took us quite some time to figure out the good and the bad. So, you know, we have two ways that we offer our service. One is through the Sales Accelerator. So that's a full, everything that I just explained, full service program. And we do everything hand-picked. So we have virtual assistants that handpick sending those messages, because it also allows for a greater amount of customization. For example, one of our clients is Indian, and he's targeting a lot the Indian community, and we're literally sending customized messages based on where the people are from, things on their name, the area that they come from, because he, that's just his personal style. Like his conversations usually start with, hey, I know your parents. And then it's like, oh, I come from this town in India, and actually I know this region, and it works really well for him. We close a lot of clients that way. So we emulated that for our lead generation, which is something that you can't do with automation. But then there's automation tools, and we have a program, it's called the Sell Your Solution program. So if you go to lucidachievement.com, under programs, there's a Sell Your Solution program where for companies that they don't want to hire an agency full time, you can actually learn how to build this automation for yourself and just run it like that. And so what I would say is, so in there you have all the information on what tools we recommend. But as a general rule of thumb, I would say you want to make sure that you're not using a tool that's an extension. So that is the biggest importance here. There are Chrome extensions that you can use, and these are detected by LinkedIn. And then there are cloud-based software programs that run the automation, and you won't have the same type of hiccups or issues with that. So that would be my recommendation, that if you choose a tool, definitely go with a cloud-based tool.
Now, these tools, are they directly integrated, or they should be, right, Lena?
Yeah, so LinkedIn doesn't have an open API because LinkedIn is LinkedIn, you know, what can I say? Sometimes I want to just go and write them a long email. They have like such an amazing database, but they really don't know how to build products that actually work for their users. So they don't necessarily tie in with LinkedIn per se perfectly, but they do to a certain extent where you can pull some information through to the CRM. So you can automate a lot from there. And then also, just because I guess you guys were asking on automation tools, what I also recommend, which is something that we leverage for all our clients, is there's a tool called Zapier, and it allows you to pull data from one platform into another. So for example, from your calendar into HubSpot, into your phone contacts, into your Outlook contacts, onto your calendar, and you can just pass that information along, and it helps save so much time for teams.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm using HubSpot integrated, am I able to get more numbers of messages? I don't think so, but let Lena answer that.
What's that?
If they're using HubSpot integrated, I believe, with LinkedIn, I'm assuming, am I able to get more messages? I guess I'm trying to understand the question. I guess the question is probably, are they able to send more messages through LinkedIn, or maybe we need a repeat of the question, Manoj. Can you list the automation tools you mentioned? So I think what we'll do is a lot of focus on automation. So in the spirit of time, we will actually follow up with you with a follow-up email, and we will definitely list some of the tools as well as some of the best practices surrounding automation. And that's, Lena will forward my message. I'll forward it to all of you and copy her on the email as well. So you can also reach out to her that way. Okay, we'll do that. Any specific questions for your LinkedIn? Let's see. Did we get everything here, folks? And you're welcome to ask the question directly as well. Just unmute your mic. Okay, one more. Yeah, I think folks are happy with us. Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much,
Thank
guys.
you, Lauren. Okay. So let us some questions on AI. I mean, I know AI is happening. A lot of folks are also using Chat GPT, etc. Any thoughts on that, on Chat GPT and LinkedIn, and maybe formulating? I know earlier you mentioned this is a bonus, folks. So if you
Yes.
guys want to just hang on for bonus, go ahead. Bonus time, bonus question for Lena. You mentioned the offer has to be so irresistible. I like what you said. You know, can Chat GPT do that? I mean, we are not great writers. I mean, the other day I asked Chat GPT to send me the whole thing about our previous roundtable. It actually did a pretty good job, and I just sent it over to LinkedIn, but I don't think that was the right strategy. But some thoughts on that. I mean, do you think some of these new AI tools can really hit that mark on the offer? And on
Yes.
LinkedIn, yeah.
So I have a couple of thoughts on that. So number one, ChatGPT really just let our business explode because we were able to basically in our existing services pack 20 times the value without really significantly increasing our cost to the clients. So you know.
Sorry, can you repeat that 20 times what? What? I don't believe
Yes,
it.
yes, exactly. So the time that it would take for us to usually service a client, create a campaign, you know, by the time that we're done with iteration 1, we have a 71-page document just with a first draft of a campaign for the campaigns that we're rolling out. And so, as you can imagine, that takes a significant amount of time. It used to take me, you know, sometimes, I don't know, 15 to 25 hours of just really sitting, strategizing, creating a strategy, boiling everything down into messaging and providing a perfect messaging.
And this you're saying 20x return because of
20x on productivity savings.
On productivity, wow. Folks,
Yeah.
listen, folks. So if you know how to use ChatGPT the right way, so where do you use it the most? In copy or communications or?
In copy, but then it also put our team on steroids, right? Because we have virtual assistants that are in the Philippines and they're amazing. Their English is really great. And sometimes you really want to customize just perfectly based on something that someone responded. So with these tools, you know, like my background is in marketing analytics. So there's something called prompt engineering that's like now popping up everywhere. It's just a fancy way of saying, give the algorithm really good instructions. And so I'm here every day just prompt engineering for my team. So then they can use these prompts you can literally tell ChatGPT, pretend that you're the world's best sales expert and model the voice of, for example, Alex Hormozy, which is like a very good marketer, to respond to this prospect based on this following chat conversation with the highest likelihood of booking this meeting, and then just hit enter and just have that virtual assistant and send the perfect follow-up message that even I or even William Shakespeare couldn't have come up with because it's so good. It's literally the best of every, you know, training data that the internet has fathomed so far.
Fantastic. So you're saying we can use this tool, ChatGPT, and some of the new tools. You know, I've been playing with Bard as well, and I think they're catching up quickly. And to actually make this messaging, DMs, you know, follow-up messages, invite messages, even your postings on LinkedIn, which I'm seeing some of my colleagues are doing lately, because I'm like, how did they suddenly become good marketeers? And I'm what is going on? And they're writing ebooks, and I'm like, when I meet this person in person, they are not like this. So I know, like, a lot of faking going on, but hey, you can make it till you fake it, right? So,
I mean, really, it frees up a whole economy. If you think about geo arbitrage, right? There's so many people in countries that have a lower cost of living that you can hire talent in, that now Susan from Minnesota and Jesse from the Philippines, they are actually on the same playing field. Susan from Michigan has no additional leverage doing this task over, you know, Jessica from the Philippines, and you can hire 10 Jessicas from the Philippines to do the exact same job or better than Jessica. And so that, imagine implementing that into your business, that puts everything on steroids all of a sudden.
I'm gonna ask-
Folks, we are just having bonus time with Lena here, and I think there's some great questions, and I think we might actually follow up with leveraging Chat GPT for social media or LinkedIn in specific. But go ahead if you have any more questions for Lena. Go ahead.
I'm just.
Can you please repeat the prompt that you said just 5 minutes back?
Yes, come on, go ahead.
Yes. So I mean, this was a kind of freestyle. I have specific templates. So just to give a little bit of more context, there's an offer statement that I create before I create any messaging. And it goes into, I do this for that person because of that, unlike this, and so on. You kind of create your templates. So to first define a structure of what you want to say and how you want to say it. So that's kind of modeling the mode of how you want the output to be. Or you can say, model it after Alex Hormozy, which is like a very, very well-known marketer that's very good at copywriting. Or model it after Sanjay, if you really love him in the way that he talks. And if there's training data on that person, then you can say, pretend that you're the world's best expert at direct selling in direct messages and LinkedIn. And based on the following conversation, copy paste the input, create the perfect response that has the highest likelihood of booking an appointment, and then provide the link where they can book the appointment.
And then magic happens.
Great.
Magic happens.
Magic happens. I think your, as they say in baseball terms, your batting average will go up significantly. I know Arthur had a question, and then we want to go to Kumu, who has raised her hand.
It's not so much a question. I just want to validate what you're saying about Chat GPT. It have helped me create a course in hours as opposed to a week more. I mean, it's my content, but I knew what questions to ask it. And so it developed the course outline, and then we went chapter by chapter for the course. So it is amazing. And I'll tell you something else. I wrote a whole book on a subject I know nothing about just to try it. And the book is 80 pages. No, it's 100 pages, the book. And over 3 days, I had a whole book, and it was all about cryptocurrency. And it was called Cryptocurrency Unveiled, the upside and the downside of cryptocurrency. Of course, you have to go through it and make sure it kind of speaks the way you would speak. And you take a look at the content, and is it current and is it somewhat accurate and so forth. But Chat GPT is just absolutely incredible. And I want to add one other thing. I think one of the things right from the beginning you mentioned was, what's your message? It's basically your brand. Who are you, right? And then what is your offer? Once you have those two things, I think what you're adding to the mix could be actually very dynamic and very fruitful for someone.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to go to Kumu. Kumu, go ahead. You raise your hand. Kumu, go ahead.
Yeah, so this
Kumu,
might be
Kumu, speak a little louder, yeah.
Yeah, this might be a sort of a funny question, but I'm basing it on what I saw on TV. And that's a question is this, that someone recently wrote a book about conversations with Mahatma Gandhi. So it's like as if he was sitting across you and you are asking him a question and he's answering you today. So can you use ChatGPT to create his image and make it look like he is actually talking to you on the screen? Because I've seen this on TV and they say, well, in the news, they were saying, oh, very soon we're going to have to say, oh, this is the real me, the newscaster, and not my ChatGPT image.
You can do that. So, I mean, ChatGPT is introducing plugins, and with Zapier, like I mentioned, this automation tool that connects through open APIs, you can link different data sources together. So you can have ChatGPT create a text outline, then you can link it to a visual image creation program, have it be fed by basically the baseline for like a bunch of videos for him, and then you can enhance it with a voice creation tool, and you can put them all together and produce output that way. So that is already available, it's already out there. And in fact, I think there was a warning that there's going to be more and more scams. So please watch out. It takes 1.2 seconds of an audio tape for someone using AI to completely model your voice into a perfect imitation. So there's these scams now where, you know, people are calling, for example, they pretend to be your granddaughter or grandson saying, oh my gosh, grandma, you know, I'm in a bad situation. Can you wire me some money? Like my car just broke down, and it sounds exactly like your grandson. And all they need is 1.2 seconds of their voice, which people post videos all the time. So it's very, very dangerous. Be mindful.
I think I'm in trouble. I have like hundreds or thousands of hours of time on YouTube. So I think I'm beyond redemption now.
Same.
Jared, you had a question, Jared? You've been, I know you've been taking notes for Tim. Jared? You good?
Yeah, my question is, as far as the integration of AI and LinkedIn, where do you see that going? Could it possibly be like a big roundtable with many clients, or a presentation that you could post, or is it any inclination with that integration?
I mean, it's really up to your creativity, right? I mean, basically the sky is the limit. You can create content for posting, you can create ads with artificial intelligence, you can have it help you for direct messaging, you can help it create a marketing plan on LinkedIn for you. You can input all your templates and say, critique the templates, say what's bad, say what's good, and then based on your own recommendation, improve the entire copy to be 500% better and stronger. One time, just as a fun fact, I took our LinkedIn messaging and I said, okay, model, like rewrite the whole script and sound like Alex Hormozy, which is again, like a very distinct marketer online. And then I dialed up the percentage by which more, like how much more extreme like Alex Hormozy he sounds. And he's like very in your face, very direct. And so it created, I mean, it took the messaging from like very excited to just completely ridiculously like over the top, where it says, are you ready to experience earth-shattering cosmic intergalactic results with LinkedIn DMs? Book 1 billion explosions of 1 billion sun, and you know, create results that will shatter your skin and go through your bones and just touch you deeply in your soul, and just created this extreme version of the messaging. So really sky's the limit in terms of creativity.
Thank you.
So I think if I also can add to that, what Lena said, Jared, yeah, we are all looking for direct integration of things like Chat, GPT, bot, etc. to LinkedIn. So I think when that happens, that would be awesome, right? So that way,
right.
you're just sitting in one and bam, 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 and maybe they don't want to do it yet because I don't think they're ready for it yet, because it might just break the damn system as we know it. But I have an interesting question, Lena. And I've seen a couple of marketers do it, and I haven't done that myself. But what about, and you mentioned the old fashioned where people do call, but on LinkedIn, have you seen the effectiveness where people actually drop in an audio message or even a video message as opposed to a text message? And what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, some people use it. You get the occasional, you know, let me draw your whiteboard and like, customize everything and place your name here. If it works for you, great. But personally, I think the best thing at the end of the day is just getting your basics and your fundamentals right. Like if you know how to speak their language, if you really hit them with the pain points that they're concerned when they go to bed, you know, the stuff that stresses them out at night, and you can speak to that like in the same language that they speak about their problem with their best friend or their wife or their partner, then you really got something. And that's where you have to get to. If you're not there, it's impossible for you to create an irresistible offer.
Well, folks, on that note, I think we'll probably come back to Lena on this topic of the irresistible offer, and maybe do a powwow and maybe share a few of those offers, like the before and after, because you know it seems like I think we would all like to learn a little bit more, and maybe how we even can use some of these tools create that. So we'll probably bring her back, in fall. But on that note, I really want to thank Lena for her time today, and very impressive talk on LinkedIn and everything we can do to grow our visibility, but more importantly, the engagement and ultimately relationships, which will result in great customer base for all of us, and the whole notion of B2B marketing. Lena, would you like to add one more piece of wisdom before we let you go?
No, I would like to just say, yeah, if everyone, let me just drop the link one more time in the chat. If you guys want to walk through a little bit of what that could look like for your business, what type of targeting is available, how we might tweak your messaging, what might be possible for you. This is a very broad, high-level presentation, but if you like a little bit more of a custom discussion, feel free to book a meeting with me. The link is here in the description, so it's calendly.com. Oh, actually, there's a typo there, calendly.com/lucidstrategies/LS. Let me fix that.
Yeah, and I have shared the link with the HTTPS earlier, so if you guys can send that message for me as well. But yeah, I think this is an awesome roundtable and fireside chat, Lena. Thank you for being with us, folks. We'll be announcing the dates for August roundtable. One of the participants here is going to be our speaker, without giving out the name. We'll keep that a little secret. But he does talk a lot about relationships, so there you go, a little hint there. And we'll announce the date very soon. And but you all have a great rest of July. Stay cool, and have a great summer, folks. Thank you.
The link is not working, by the way. So I don't know if there's something.
I'm going to actually post it right here as well. Go ahead, Alok. Use this link, the very last one I just shared, and from there you can go to various. Yeah, go ahead.
That one's working. Thank you.
Yeah, this one. Sorry about that.
That works too. Okay.
Actually, the last one is specifically the best one. Yeah.
Thanks, Sanjay. Thanks, Lena. Great information. I really appreciated it. Thank you.
Thank you all for your participation. We without you, of course, this doesn't happen. So we appreciate your participation and all the great questions. Thank you all.
Thank you again.